folks. Thank you for joining us here on Public Affairs. I am your host. My name is John Peterson. Today we have some interesting people with some interesting stories to tell to introduce you to. They are Jason and Kristen Price from the Salvation Army here in Marion. So without any further ado, welcome to you both. I know from talking to you before we start taping here that you have an amazing story to tell, and there's an amazing group of people that you have served, and obviously a greater number of people yet to serve. So I was just saying to you earlier that I've been here 8 years, and you've been here 8 years. I've been here longer than 8 years. You've been here 8 years, and we're just now meeting. So make up for lost time here, right?
Yes.
So anyhow, the one thing I do want to say to you about them is that there is a rare group of people in this world, and those are the people who obtain joy from serving others. These are two of them. So I congratulate you on being that. And so, Jason, I know when you first called, or I called, I forget now, I think you called here and then I gave me your number and I called you, something like that. Anyhow, so I'm just surprised that you've been here 8 years and I just now met you. So anyhow, I'm trying to get over that, right? Because I get around, thought I got around more than that. So anyhow, you came here 8 years ago, you and Kristen, obviously your wife, and came here to serve the community.
Yes.
It's a rare opportunity that I have to find out from other people who come here. So what is our town like, and what were the experiences that you went through to serve the people that would come to you with various and sundry needs?
Well, the community is very diverse. There's many different types of people in the community. Those who are really living on the streets, and those who are jumping from house to house, living on couches, and then you have some people that are living paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. And then you have those who are better off, and many of them help serve the community by helping with our programs and that kind of stuff. But it's a very diverse community.
Very good. I noticed we were talking earlier that in my life, the people who are the most in need are the people who serve the most. The most altruistic or service-minded people and unselfish and all that. So you mentioned a few different groups of people there, and any particular family, not names obviously, but any particular family that you've encountered that fits that profile of that very needy but also very, very generous?
Yes, we have one gentleman that he will be there to help out. He's struggling, he can't pay his bills, and but he's willing to serve, he's willing to help his community. And it's amazing, with everything going on in his life, with his personal struggles, that he finds time to help others and give back to the community.
Yeah, imagine you've also found people like that qualify. Any particular individual or group that stands out to you or that are remarkable in that sense?
I think we have some wonderful senior citizens, retired folks who give back, and they assist us in so many different ways. And they may be, living one check to another, but they're the first ones to step up whenever I need help. They're the first ones to come and help out at the church and in the food pantry and the soup kitchen. And they have such giving hearts.
Yeah. I know we were talking before we started taping here about the fact that, well, there really truly is a God who really does care for people, and that he helps people through people. And it's so him helping makes your life a lot easier. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Right.
Any idea, any thoughts that come to your mind when I said that?
Well, we do a lot at the Salvation Army. We do a lot of meal programs. We do a lot of food boxes. We do a lot of serving, especially through Christmas and whatnot. And we're here to serve, and that's our goal. but we can't do it alone. So when we have these other people that come to us from other churches and they volunteer their time just so selfishly, they just give up their time, they give up their days, and they're just so kind, and they come alongside of us to make what we do a lot easier.
Yeah, and multiply your effort.
Right.
So I know one of the first things I'd like to talk to you about is Angel Tree, which I've known about Angel Tree for, I can't even remember when. I mean, I just long time ago, 20, 30 maybe years ago. I know that's one of your major things, particularly here in Christmas time, Angel Tree. So one of you would like to describe to our viewers what Angel Tree is and how they might help.
Right. So the Angel Tree program is a program that assists low-income families with their Christmas needs. We believe that Christmas is a time of joy. It's a time of blessing. And one of the biggest things we feel is that no child should wake up on Christmas morning without a gift under the Christmas tree. Every child deserves to experience that.
Yes.
That moment of joy in the morning. So what we do is our Angel Tree, they're all over town. You see these little tags. They have a child's wishes on there, like what size clothing they wear, do they need a coat, do they need shoes, and then some of their toy wishes that they have for Christmas. Each year, we do about 600 children on an average year. During the pandemic, we got up to 900 children. So we are serving all of those children who are low income. We verify the income in the need of families to make sure that they are truly in need. But the Angel Tree program supplies clothing. We try to give them multiple outfits and pajamas, tennis shoes, coats, hats, gloves, those things that children may not enjoy, but that they need at this time of year.
Yes.
Right. Once you get through back to school, winter time is a time that children really need to have new clothing. So that's one focus. And then we also do the toy aspect. So we give them several toys, things that they might really be wanting. To go back to school after Christmas break, one of the biggest things is to share with your friends what you got.
Yes.
And I can't imagine the devastation of a child that goes back and got nothing for Christmas.
Sometimes it's my perception. I remember, I mentioned to you earlier, that when my dad came back from overseas, he was an officer in World War II, and when the war was over and he came home, and nobody had any money. And I remember one year for a gift, the only gift was a pocket knife. And I will never, ever forget how much that pocket knife meant to me. I was constantly making sure it was clean and sharpening it when it needed sharpened. I mean, that pocket knife just it made my world the sun came up in my world. But my point is, to your point, that a child that has nothing, a gift just opens, the sun rises in their world, right? And anything? Did any interesting experience in that regard?
So one of the things is we know some of the families through our other programs that we do at the church, and as well as through the food pantry and the social services, and we get to see those children, and we get to see them months later.
Yes.
And I always tell people, you never understand the value of a gift until you've seen that gift last. We have a child that every year, one of his big things is he just wants a hoodie. And you think it's just a sweatshirt. But I see that child wear that one sweatshirt all year long until the next Christmas. And I tell people, for you it might be $30. But for that child, it's something that he wears every day. That's his security. That's an item that's really important to him. We have children that will wear their shoes, and they always come back in and they'll say, look at my shoes. Look, I'm still taking care of them. So for these children, a simple gift that might cost you $20 or $15 or whatever, they find such great ownership of that gift. You see,
we're talking about responsibility here.
Right, because they understand. I think they understand that, they probably figure out that mom and dad don't have money to provide those things. They might not know exactly where it comes from, but they see the importance to them of those small items or those clothing items. And you're right, they take that responsibility of, I don't know where it came from, but it was a blessing to me.
So we're talking about miraculous events in the life of people.
Of little people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the most vulnerable.
Right.
So, Jason, from your eyes and from your lips, experiences of Angel Tree?
There's one that always stands out for me. There was a family that was living. It was a homeless family that was living in a hotel, and they had 6 kids, and they all was in one hotel room together, and they didn't have anything. They just had gotten to town. They were living, and they came to the Salvation Army for help for Christmas, and we had somebody step up to adopt that family, and so they were given the clothes that they needed, just more than 2 or 3 items. They were given the clothes that they needed. They were given food that they would need for a few days, a Christmas meal, living in a hotel, and those kids were just so overjoyed.
Yeah,
they were just, and that's one thing that will always stand out for me with Angel Tree.
So let me give you my take on this, and find out what your response to my take is. That you're not necessarily providing food, clothing, etc. To people. You're literally blessing them, and that blessing oftentimes has the benefit, has the effect of literally transforming people.
Right.
So what I'd like for our viewers to know is, you're not just, quote, feeding people.
Right.
You're not just you're looking for gifts for people to donate or to adopt, see children, whatever, with Angel Tree gifts or whatever. But they can participate with you in blessing the community.
Right.
And that's often something it's either overlooked or something. It's the capacity not to feed people, but to bless people and to see them it's like pouring water on a plant. It just blossoms, right?
Right.
So I know then. So the Christmas meals is obviously another way that you serve the community. Do you do that at your place there on West Church Street?
So for Christmas, again, for our Christmas assistance program, one of the things, part of the Angel Tree, is that the family receives everything that they would need for a Christmas dinner. We believe that gathering around their table, and if they have no table, that gathering inside their own home as a family, having that chance to experience that Christmas meal in their own home is what's important. So for our Christmas meal, they receive like a turkey, a ham, mashed potatoes, pies, bread, everything you would need to create that meal in their own home.
Okay, so my take was wrong. So you are providing them with the ability to have a Christmas meal in their home.
Right.
That's
because there's a lot of community meals, which we do community meals as well, but this is a one opportunity. Christmas really is that time to be with your family. And it's a time to celebrate with one another. And on Christmas Day, there's, that's an opportunity to wake up on Christmas morning and to start cooking and to enjoy that. So yeah, we try to provide that full meal aspect for them. And that's always been a huge blessing, and people have really enjoyed that.
So this isn't news to you, I'm sure, but it's coming from me. It's like, wow, that's a good idea. Whoever thought up this one, to use that phrase, the idea of feeding people in their home and allow them to have a communal family relationship, around together, around food, that's a brilliant idea. And it's far, far, far better than having people come to a gymnasium, auditorium, whatever, and to go around the quote-unquote soup line.
Yeah.
This is far better.
Right.
So the Christmas meals, if anybody out there is like I was a few seconds ago, this is not that.
Right.
You are enabling needy families to have a home meal in their home with their family around them.
Right. There's several churches in town that do meals throughout the week before Christmas, which is wonderful. But like you said, that's just going and eating there. But for us personally, there's something important about being together as a family. And if you've never been able to fully afford a meal, we see a lot of low-income families may be able to have mac and cheese or SpaghettiOs or some nights hot dogs. But when they're able to have the full spread, the feast, that is what Christ offers us as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely marvelous. So, anybody that's alive in the United States around Christmas time has seen the kettles, and people, ringing the bell and stuff. And first of all, I've never seen an unhappy people ringing the bell. That's just, they're always kind of happy.
Right.
And it's out there and it's cold, and they're all alone, right? And it takes a special kind of individual who will do that. And I'm just grateful that there are people, and that either they found you or you found them, one of the two. So when I see that, I go, oh, must be Christmas time. I don't think about the gifts that are placed there. Are actually, they're blessing real people, like you said earlier about the Christmas meals in the home.
Right.
So talk to me, Jason, first, if you will. The kettle program, what does it mean from a servant perspective?
Well, the kettles is a way for us to be able to serve not just at Christmas time, but to help us serve throughout the year. Because it does help us at Christmas time, but we have to raise money to continue that service throughout the year, to provide meals, to provide soup kitchen, to help with, other things that we help with throughout the year. And so that's one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, so that we can continue to do what we do throughout the year.
I didn't know that until just now. So this is just one of many things that goes on, throughout the year, but obviously it's a major one. Kettle season means what to you?
The Salvation Army started the Red Kettle effort with a lobster pot, and their theme was keep the pot boiling, and they collected the change in that pot to continue their soup kitchens. And that still holds true today. When we raise money in our Red Kettle effort, it goes to help our soup kitchen. It helps to go to our food pantry. It helps us to serve with utilities to clients. It also helps fund our Christmas program as well. So our goal at Christmas time is really to raise as much funds as we can. As you know, there's so much need in the community. We're working year-round, constantly serving. So to keep our pot boiling all year long, we really need to raise those funds. And as times have changed and people don't carry as much cash, it's caused some differences as far as fundraising goes. But when you hear that bell, I always tell my kids, even if it's not, if we're not in our own town, or if we see other people outside raising money for different groups, I always say, dig out the change, because that little bit of change really goes a long way to make a big change in our community.
Yeah, sitting here talking to you, listening to you, I've actually, strange that I've known several people who were involved from a ministerial level or leadership level or whatever. But my discussions with them, were always about personal things, friends and personal things. But I can sit here, I can honestly say that I was years of talking to people. I never got down to find out exactly what they did in their own words, right? I'm shocked at that. Maybe it's because they do that, and what they needed was just a personal relationship.
Right.
So that was why that happened, right? And same thing too, because I was doing the same thing, and I needed a personal relationship. So I understand now how that happened. But I think to myself, goodness gracious, as long as this has been going on, this is the first I heard from their perspective the value of what they were doing. And I pay attention to people. I don't read people, but I pay attention to people. When I see your eyes light up when you were telling the stories about the people having food in their own home stuff, and it's obviously this is all about service and all about helping people, right? So we've talked about these three things, basically: angel tree, Christmas meals, and the kettle. Not that's kettle season, but the kettles themselves, and that the proceeds from the kettles, that lasts throughout the year. So it's a major time. of fundraising for you, and I will just tell you. Have you ever heard of the 90-10 people, or the 80-20 people? You know what that means? That 90% of the work is done by 10% of the people,
Right.
or 80% of the work is done by. It doesn't go to 70.
Right.
It's closer to 90. That in a church. And by the way, folks, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, if you're serving the community, like I was a pastor, and these people are in that role. In any church or community service, a category, 90% of the people do. I'm sorry, 10% of the people do 90% of the work. I said that wrong to begin with. I want to correct that. 10% of the people do 90% of the work. So you represent those 10%, and that leads you into marvelous things. So. We've talked about these things, and now the folks watching us and listening to us, they know the Angel Tree, is gifts for children who otherwise won't have one.
Right.
And also the Christmas meals is for people who can receive, whether it's a ham or a turkey and all the fixings, mashed potato gravy, etc., that they'll be able to have a meal in their own home at Christmas time with the family all there, and you make that available to them through the Christmas Meals program. And then the Kettle program obviously is a financial fundraiser that enables you to do things throughout the rest of the year. So in those three different categories, any particular experience, Jason, come to your mind that would be good for the people watching us and listening to us to hear about?
Well, the volunteers that we have ringing the bell, they always have fun. Like you said, you've never seen a unhappy bell ringer. Well, that's because they want to be out there. They want to serve their community. They want to give back to the community. And I always, tell them, have fun with it. Just don't be out there being stiff. Have fun with it. You're serving the community. You're talking to people. It's the season of giving and of being happy and joyful because of what we've been given.
Kristen, I know you have things that you're just waiting to tell.
I could think of a million stories of the blessings that come around Christmas. Not because I always tell people it's not the work that I do myself or the work that my husband or the work that the church does. It's such a community effort to bless others, and you'll hear so many wonderful stories. People that come because they were given to when they were a child. People that come and give to us because when they were in the war, the Salvation Army Donut Girls were out there. Just so many stories of how people have been blessed in the past when they were in need, and they just want to give back. Sometimes we can go get a Starbucks coffee for $7. We don't think twice about it. And just to hear people say, well, I've given that up for the Christmas season, I'm just put that money in the kettle. And it's amazing to see that during such a time of giving, to see everyone give back. And that's really what Christmas is all about, sharing the love with others.
Yeah, folks, you have an amazing opportunity here. I hope you realize that there are people whom God uses to bless us with, and these are two of those people. And to hear them tell their stories, you see the joy in their eyes, and also their eyes light up when they tell about experiences they've had. So if you've tuned in a little late in the program, then these are from the Salvation Army here in Marion, Ohio. Jason and Kristen Price are their names, and they are here to enable us to comprehend the need of our community here and how we can all, each of us individually and collectively, because you mentioned the community earlier, individually and collectively, how we can help the people who are in need. So they are not doing this, I'm doing this. I'm saying that if you're wondering how life can become more meaningful to you, look for somebody else to help. That will transform your life, even as it's transformed many, many others' lives. And so we have about 3 or 4 minutes, but a little over 3 minutes now left. And so anything that you would like to share anything you'd like to share that would enable the community to know you as Salvation Army people better, and perhaps maybe enable them to get to know you better.
I think for us, one of the things is so many people have been in the community for a long time, but they don't realize the Salvation Army is a church. I always tell everyone we are first and foremost a church, and we're also doing social services on the side. But we are a church. We've been here since
65. In Marion since
yeah.
1890.
Yeah.
Wow, 1890.
Right.
And the Salvation Army as a whole since 1865.
Yeah, and so we have a rich history in Marion. There's never been a year that the Salvation Army has been closed. There's never been a year that the Salvation Army has not been serving the community. So we tell people all the time, just stop in and see us, talk to us. You probably wouldn't even realize it. One of the things is we're not boastful people, so we're not out there, telling everyone what we're doing all the time. But on a weekly basis, you would see Monday nights we do our soup kitchen. Last night we served 157 people before we ran out of food in just a matter of 40 minutes. So there's a lot of need in the community. Last Friday we did a food pantry and we gave out over 200 food boxes in 2 hours. Again, with the help of other churches and community members coming in to help us work on that. We're constantly helping people, but we are busy and we're doing that within the walls of our building, just serving and doing the best we can. And we are just so blessed by those in our community who do support us and who do realize the good that is being done here in the community.
So, folks, we're grateful. We here at TV39 are grateful that we've had the opportunity to introduce you to the people who have been serving this community. A long line of people since 1890. That's something else I didn't know. So if you're looking for a way to make a difference in somebody else's life, please call these people. The number has been on the screen there, and you can find them. You can find them many other ways, I'm sure, website, phone numbers, etc., and email, etc., etc. But I just want to take the opportunity to thank you, folks, for tuning in and watching this and enable us to introduce you to these people and understand from their perspective what they're doing and the joy they get from it, and how we can all serve together by helping them. And so I'm grateful to Jason, you, and Kristen, you, and your kids probably wonder where their mom and dad's is. Right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So anyhow, folks, I am your host. My name is John Peters, and I thank you so very much for tuning in and watching Public Affairs, because this program is ultimately for you, to let you know what the current events are in our community. So I thank you very much for watching, and please take a moment and dig in. And with the internet and all these other things, you can find out more about the Information Army, and I suggest that you do that. It will enrich your life. Thank you very much. Again, I'm your host. My name is John Peterson.